Hello, nostalgic friends. I did not make this tier list, and I'm now realizing not nostalgic. We're off to a great start. This is the game console tier list. I didn't make this. I don't really even know what's in here. I didn't look at it. We're just gonna rank these ones. If it's missing any, I don't know. Let me know down below where the ones that are missing, that you think are missing, should go. I'm going to let you know where these go. And I do actually like the categories that they've broken this down to. It's not just a traditional ranking. We actually have a nostalgic category, an obscure, forgettable. Let's see where we end up. I might be very biased towards Nintendo, but this is every game console ranked. Let's react. We're going to start with the Xbox One S, I believe. Couldn't be more forgettable. Honestly, couldn't be more forgettable. That's a perfect one for forgettable, because it released this generation alongside the Xbox Series X, which is the one everybody actually wants, right? It's the one that actually is this generation. This one, the S, held back the Xbox this generation. There were games published and developed for Xbox that had to take this console into consideration, and it held back all the Xbox games for this generation. It's just so forgettable, and I think when we look back, we're going to remember PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and not the S. Dreamcast. I'm going to put it in... These breakdown categories help me so much. Nostalgic. It's nostalgic. Playing one is nostalgic. I remember renting a Dreamcast, and that little screen and having things pop up on it, like whatever bullets you have left in your... I can't even remember what the screen did, but it was nostalgic. The console's nostalgic. It kind of tanked Sega, let's be honest. This is the PSP, and I think the PSP is noteworthy. I really can't put it any higher. The discs were so clunky and dorky. I thought they were cool, but I never thought they were a good idea. I still can't believe we had a little portable console this size that had an actual spinning mini disc in the back of it as you were playing. And it could also play movies. There were UMV movies, or whatever they were called. The Xbox One, it's really the only thing I can think of is noteworthy is it's the console that wanted to force Connect and a ton of other things down our throats. That's really the only noteworthy thing, and it's not good, so I can't really put it in B. And it's not really obscure. It's not like it's hard to find. I'm going to change obscure to, like, eh. D is just going to be eh. It's just eh. It was fine. I don't really have too many memories with it. I don't even know what I played on it. It was a lot of third-party stuff. Anthem, Titanfall. Did it even have any good Halos? Maybe it's forgettable. No, I'll leave it in but it's honestly quite forgettable too. All right, now we're getting, I mean, this is easily a S tier beloved. Beloved? Not only is it S tier by default, but beloved? Yes, everybody beloves the Game Boy SP. The clamshell, so sick. This was like at a time and an era where clamshell stuff was in and it was cool, and mobile phones did a flip and you could slam the coal on somebody, and now you have your video games. Now you can slam your video games shut. It's just a really cool handheld, a great form factor. Just... Even now, I love picking up a Game Boy Advance SP and playing games. Now, assuming this is the only version of the DS on the list, I'm inclined to put it in beloved as well. I mean, memorable? Beloved? Memorable? Is it A or is it S? It might be S. It might be beloved. I'm tempted to put it in A only because I would say the 3DS is, like, beloved. And it does everything that it does and better. So, like, I kind of want to move it down, but at the same time, it's still beloved. I'm going to give it beloved. Sega Genesis, for a lot of people, this is beloved. If I want to go my list, I would put A, memorable. A, very memorable. I didn't have one growing up. I bought one when I got into collecting like 10 years ago. And one of the first games I stuck in there was Gunstar Heroes. Sick game. Oh, hey, puppy. Obviously, it's got a ton of great games. And a lot of Australia grew up with the Mega Drive. It was the more popular of the two consoles at the time between Super Nintendo and Nintendo. The Genesis and the Master System, I think it was called, were the more popular ones. But for me, I was a Nintendo kid. PlayStation 2 is beloved and goated. It's right up there with the Switch, which we may as well throw up here now. Who are we kidding? Both these consoles have sold like 150, 160 million. Both of them have incredible video game libraries, first party and third party, both at their time, flawless consoles. Both these consoles are like neck and neck for greatest of all time. Is this another PlayStation 2, the Slim? I mean, it's the same thing. I don't care about form factor. The original Xbox, I'm going to give that memorable. The original Xbox, I still think is... No, the 360 is probably peak Xbox. But the Xbox, they really knocked it out the park to begin with. It was cool, had such a cool vibe to it. The way the console looked is awesome, but also the games like Halo, the first time you play Halo, something about this console too, and like multiplayer, it was revolutionary at the time. It changed the way I thought about video games. Xbox games were just cool. There was something about Xbox, something about the green and that giant X. All right, the Wii. The Wii, I'm going to give a memorable. A lot of people would probably say beloved. I'm just not there with the Wii. I was a hardcore Nintendo fan growing up, and I couldn't wait to get the Wii, and my favorite memory of the Wii was getting it day one and playing through Twilight Princess and messing around with Red Steel, but nothing really recaptured that hype for me. Moving on from there, it was a lot of third-party and shovelware. The third-party was all slop. It was like third-party, like games that released on PlayStation and Xbox and Switch, and Wii, sorry. The Wii version was always the worst one. And I remember my breaking point. And when I say worst, by the way, I don't even mean like bad graphics or like a bad version of the game. I mean like literally they would remake the game at the time for Wii and it would be a different version. And my breaking point was the SmackDown vs. Raw or WWE, some wrestling game. I remember my friends got it on their Xbox 360 at the time, and I got it on Wii. And their version was like an actual wrestling game, like the ones you play now that come out, the WWE 2K or whatever. My version was like all motion controls. Like if I wanted to tune up the band and hit a Sweet Chin Music with Shawn Michaels, I actually had to like do this and then super kick like this. And there was no option to not do that. It was a whole different game, graphics-wise, gameplay engine. And I was like, man, I am teetering on becoming a young adult here, and I cannot play this. But it was like this one little blemish in my Nintendo career where even I was like, I'm out on you guys. Anyway, Wii U, it's... Oh, I can't give it an air. And I don't know if it's old enough to be nostalgic, and I don't know if I want to go B. Oh, how about we just say nostalgic and move on with our lives? I don't even have to talk about it, really. PlayStation 4 slapped. PlayStation 4 was pretty good. I wouldn't say beloved, but what an incredible library of games at the time. Some of the best PlayStation... I guess games like Last of Us and Uncharted started with PlayStation 3, right? PlayStation 4 was really the time where I moved on from Xbox. I feel like I should tell this story before I tell that story, but Xbox 360 is definitely S tier. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's the best Xbox. Despite the red ring, despite the issues, despite everything, technically wrong with that console, the actual library was peak video games, I felt like. Like, it was at a time where developers weren't afraid to take risks, and we got wacky games like Bayonetta and a game called Wet. A game called Wet. Put up footage of Wet. Like, and then, what was that other game that came out around the same time that had like a Android-looking guy with a gun? It started with an I. I'll try and remember it later. We'll put up gameplay here too. Games like that, they really only came about because developers were still finding like weird concepts and ideas that worked, and People would buy the games and try them out. They would go to a store and just pick up a game because it looked cool. Nowadays, everything's marketing research. Everything has to be live subscription and these ongoing games, and we barely get anyone taking risks because I don't want to end up with a new Anthem. And I just feel like Xbox 360, you had games like Lollipop Chainsaw. You know what I mean? Like these cool games that just came out of nowhere, and they had such personality and attitude at the time. And on top of that, the first-party games and the big budget experiences, the Assassin's Creed, all of that, they all looked great on Xbox. It was just a great place to have the library and achievements and the ecosystem around that. That was when achievements were at their absolute peak as well, and building up your gamer score meant something, you know? It was bragging rights at high school. That was really peak for me. And then, as I was going to say, the Xbox One or whatever was next failed, and it was immediately a ripcord of like, oh, Xbox sucks now, which was hard to get my head around. But the PlayStation 4 era is when I started making that switch. And that's when I became more Sony-focused and my PlayStation 4 library filled out, and it took the place of Xbox 360 in that way. I was buying all my third-party games there. They looked and played great. The PlayStation Pro came out, the 4 Pro, and they looked even better. Yeah, that's why I liked the PlayStation 4. And the PlayStation 4 was when Sony, I felt, was in their swing with exclusive games. The ones I mentioned, but also Ghost of Tsushima and all of those games. It was just like, I don't know, it was just the best time for Sony, I feel like. This was Sony's best. No, after PlayStation 2, this was Sony's most recent best. The Xbox Series X, I mean, yeah. I want to be nicer to it, but it really, when it released, they were like, this is the console with power. If you want power, get the Xbox, not the PlayStation 5. And then we came to find out they were really identical, but at least PlayStation had games. There's no reason to have an Xbox, especially now when everything is an Xbox. Atari, ugh. I've always said this, I hate Atari. I think the Atari, I mean, it was before my generation. Having said that, I've always managed to enjoy things from before my time if they were fun. I've gone back and played Atari games. They just haven't aged well. They were very much just very basic concepts, and they had to be for the time. The game cartridge files were so small. The technology was so limited. I mean, games literally like Pong is what existed on that console, and it's just hard to go back and be entertained by it now. You know, it's like picking up a baby's toy and trying to be entertained while still appreciating that's all people had at the time. So for me, it's very but I'm gonna say noteworthy just because Atari at the time, we owe a lot to them and that console for video games and what we have now. Without Atari, I don't know if we get the NES. I don't know if we end up where we are now, so it's noteworthy. The original Game Boy is memorable. I'm going to blast through some of these. The Game Boy Color is S tier. We don't need any explanation on that. We're all on board, I feel like. The Game Gear is, I think, because the battery life was horrible. The Game Boy Advance is A tier, memorable. Some people would put it in S, but we already have this bad boy, and I just think the SP is superior in every way. We have the flip up. I don't care. It's honestly forgettable. I don't think of anyone, I don't know who even has this or remember this exists half the time. The Vita is noteworthy. Same with the PSP. It just didn't make a big splash, but it did have Persona 4 Golden, which is how I fell in love with the Persona series and is a great version of the best version of the game. Now we have it on Switch too, but the Vita is sick. The screen, I think I had an OLED screen at the time too. Micro OLED screen or something. But one of the models did anyway, and that's huge for the time. Very noteworthy. I think this is the Saturn, which looks very gray. I don't remember it being that pale gray. I'll give it nostalgic. I don't know what you want me to say about it. Another Game Boy? I mean, I don't even know. I've done Game Boy. I did the original. I did the color. We're getting too wacky with it. The PlayStation 5, I don't think anybody would be able to say it's beloved yet, but memorable is a weird... Of course we remember it. It's current. I'm going to give it an A, though, because it deserves an A. It's a very, very solid console with a very memorable design. You're not going to forget that this spaceship, believe me. Oh, the PS1. Oh, that might almost be beloved. Oh, Final Fantasy like 7 and 9. Tomb Raider. Do I put another PlayStation in beloved? Is the first one beloved? Or is it more nostalgic? But it has to be at least A. I'm going to say A. I'm really tight on that one. It could be S. Like GameCube is. Sorry. Actually, I don't know if I can do it. All right, here we go. GameCube. Controller, beloved. Best controller of all time. Beloved. Maybe the 360 and like Xbox era controller is a little better, but this controller, best controller. Beloved. The GameCube itself, I mean, it was the last time Nintendo were really competitive from a graphics standpoint. And as a result, we had a lot of third-party games come to this that were on other consoles. We also had some great exclusive games. Mario Kart Double Dash, Wind Waker. Okay, it's beloved. It's beloved. I was considering putting it in memorable, but the controller and Wind Waker alone sold me that this is beloved. Also, all the fun colors it came in. Get out of here. The NES is memorable. The Super Nintendo is beloved. The PS1, like slim with the screen. What are we doing? Get it out of here. The N64 is beloved. That's beloved. Yeah. That feels good to me. That feels good to me. Smash 64, Mario Kart. I almost want to put the Super Nintendo down. When I compare these two, I'm definitely more on the 64. Ocarina of Time. What the Super Nintendo have? Mega Man X, Donkey Kong, Mario World. Okay, yeah, it had some good stuff. The PlayStation 3 Fat. I've done the 3, right? No, I haven't. Oh, wow. I'm gonna do memorable. I'll put it next to the 4. Great console. They're the first fat one that was backwards compatible too. They got rid of that eventually because it cost $1,000. That's memorable. Memorable how much it costs. Same thing as 4. We don't have to get into it. The Xbox 360, again, this was like the revision of it. I don't care. Also, same with that. The PlayStation 3. I mean, we can take that, put that one out, take that one in. It doesn't matter. Here's the Xbox One with the Kinect. So what was that other Xbox? And where did I put it? Here, let's move this out of there. I don't know what that... I think this is like a revision of one of the Xboxes. I don't even know. Same with this, the 3DS. I already did the 3DS XL. I don't feel the need to do another 3DS. I think these are all repeat consoles. So we're going to just do the Virtual Boy. And I mean, unfortunately, it's quite literally forgettable. Most people don't know what that is. We all know what it is. I know we do, but generic people have no idea what that is. I don't think it's memorable, beloved, noteworthy, nostalgic, or even It's quite literally forgettable. It had 14 games and only like 2 of them were good. You just take one look at it and you know why that wouldn't work. Every console, I put a lot more in beloved and memorable, which I think is a good sign, right? That most of the consoles that have ever been released have been good. They've mostly been good. I mean, at least on this list, right? This is really all the main ones. There's really been very few stinkers, I feel like. And even the stinkers always have something of value or something to give, something, you know? All right, let me know down below what you think of my list and where you would move things and what this list might be missing. Like, comment, flip on that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.